Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Yeah Bud podcast with your hosts, Kelsey Powell, and all the way from Whitby, Sean Tillgood. How are you, Sean?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You know, I'm dealing with a low pressure system here in Peterborough, but other than that, can't really complain.
Yeah, I mean, that's not good for the sinuses, so I hope you're getting through it.
I'm getting through it. I mean, listeners have heard about my sinuses enough, I think, over the years. But, you know, that's just how it is. We don't need to hear any more about that. You know, so welcome to your favorite podcast from Central Ontario, the home of the Petes and the Generals. Or at least I don't know about favorite. Our commitment levels are a little bit lacking to be a favorite.
I feel like we should call it the favorite occasionally podcast.
Yeah. Of the 115 corridor.
Right.
We'll start there, go somewhere else. I mean, we're like Matt Murray, I think. We're still Calder eligible. We played enough. We played a small enough amount of games.
Yeah, listen. Here's the deal, though. I don't understand when we started hating on Marc-Andre Fleury. I mean, when did he become a bad goalie? I might have missed 2 or 3 years, but now apparently he's just not number one caliber.
Well, to be fair, he has had inconsistencies, which any goalie who plays the amount of games that he does will have. But he was never a bad goalie. There's just more than one good goalie in the league, and there's more than one good goalie on that team. Like I think that's fair. I think Sullivan has made good decisions with his goaltenders, and I'm of the firm belief that if you want to win the cup, construct a team with more than one good goalie. Have 2 goalies you think you can win the cup with. I think it's important.
Well, that's been the formula for teams in the most recent playoff runs.
Well, exactly. I mean, look at it's kind of a weird example, but Peter Budaj on the Kings, like he almost got them to the playoffs.
Peter Budaj.
You didn't think you'd be hearing that name again.
What a reference.
That really, like this, if you think you have a window, you go for it. I think that's the way to run a hockey team. You have to have 2 talented goalies on your team.
Yep.
Most of these teams do, but a lot of these teams would also be sunk if they had a bad injury at goalie, and you don't want one injury to ruin your chance of winning a cup.
No, you spend way too long building a team and putting your systems in place for one bad injury to ruin your run.
It's not fair. It's not fair to the team you've constructed to put them in that position where one injury is going to sink them. It's your fault as a GM. In this writer's humble opinion, of course.
Have you heard the controversy that's coming out of Buffalo recently?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think you're talking about the supposed request from Jack Eichel to have his coach fired.
Yeah, apparently he runs the show in Buffalo.
Which makes sense. I mean, is Dan Bilesman really going to tell... is he really going to tell Jack Eichel to screw off? I don't get that feeling.
No, but you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Cleveland and LeBron.
Yeah, this is a Doug Blatt situation. Is that his name, Doug Blatt?
I feel like, you know what's funny? I almost forgot his name, but then I remembered his name is David Blatt.
David Blatt. He used to play basketball. He played for the New Jersey Nets or something in the 80s.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this is definitely reminding me of that sort of situation where a player starts taking over the team. And you know what? Even in Cleveland, I know they eventually had success and got lucky. You have to be pretty careful. Because
I feel like
it's not always the recipe for success.
I feel like it's easier to do with a basketball team, though, for some reason.
Well, the thing with basketball is one player does have more of an effect on the team.
Exactly.
Individually. Just chemistry-wise and numbers-wise, you are more of a percentage of the team as a star player.
Right.
That makes total sense. I don't know. Like I actually think Jack Eichel has a point. I don't think he is the right coach for that team. I think he's a bit overrated as a coach. That's my hot take for today. But I don't think he's going to be the coach that brings that guy to a cup. And I would be frustrated. You look at Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid and how much attention they've gotten, and this guy's supposed to be right up there with them, and it didn't really happen that way.
Yeah, but how much can you blame that on? I guess you can blame most of that on the team, but I think we're at a point in the league now where if you're good, then you will have eyes on you. And I'm not saying that Jack Eichel's not good. I'm saying he might not be the generational talent that Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews are.
Well, I mean, that depends. If you had Steve Yzerman rather than Gretzky and Lemieux, you'd be pretty happy still. And I think he's still going to be a hell of a player.
Oh, I don't dispute that. But it's just interesting that he kind of takes it upon himself to call the shots right out of the box.
Yeah, it could be a very bad sign. And Buffalo are definitely hoping it becomes a LeBron situation. I mean, they're on the owner is firmly on Team Eichel, and he's got to be, right.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the team doesn't have much of a choice in this matter, but to support him, and they acted swiftly. It was totally weird.
They've got too much invested in him not to act.
And I really think that Buffalo have missed their chance. Or not missed their chance. I think they're still going to be really good. But I think the Leafs have lapped them in terms of development.
Oh, for sure.
I'd be a little bit scared because they tried to rush it a little bit. And it's not looking so great. Ryan O'Reilly and Evander Kane aren't really the kind of guys you want to build around, maybe.
And they rushed it with guys. Yeah, they rushed it with guys who aren't the guys that, as you said, you want to build around. They rush it with guys who are okay, but they're not going to lead to anywhere very promising, I don't think.
Okposo never won a cup in New York.
Yeah, I, I, I think New York is one of those fascinating scenarios because I think they were good enough for a time, but I think their window closed incredibly quickly for some reason.
Which is great for the Leafs, because that means we get their best
Yeah.
player. Which
Hopefully.
I think Tavares is a Leaf. Or
Hopefully. I mean,
let's not get too excited, but maybe it's not the Leafs. I don't see him staying with that team. They have not shown a commitment to winning, and they traded their best winger, the best winger that he's had. I would never. Why would you want to stay there? There's no point.
and they move every 2 years.
Yeah. And they move every 2 years from one asbestos-filled barn to another. Anyway, what are we doing talking about non-playoff teams?
It was just interesting to me, that's all.
Well, actually, I have a little more non-playoff team takes to go, okay? Did you watch the draft lottery?
I did not, but I saw the results.
You saw the results. The results are hilarious. Because the teams that tanked the worst got screwed.
And it's amazing. It's amazing.
I know. Like, Las Vegas, like, Las Vegas tanked just by existing. And Arizona, they tanked. It was like the worst tank of all time. What did they have, like the 6th pick or 7th pick?
I think it's the 7th pick.
Oh, so bad. Like, they committed to tanking this year, and they only got the 7th pick.
Well, didn't the NHL change the rules of tanking?
They did, and I like the rules as they are. Like, I kind of like that a team that just kind of had a bad year and isn't completely abjectly terrible gets decent odds, right? Like Philly, New Jersey, and Dallas are the top 3.
Yeah.
And, like, none of them's objectively terrible. Like, New Jersey are pretty bad, but they're trying. They have Hall, they have Schneider, like, they have pieces.
Yeah.
So I want good players going to decent teams or places where it's not just going to be a wasteland.
Well, that's the thing. For so long, even Tavares in New York was atrocious.
Well, I'm sick of these wasted years. Wasted years from great players.
Exactly. They're just toiling in obscurity.
That's why I'm most happy for Taylor Hall out of all this.
I hope he gets some players around him and he can actually make a run.
I'm no fan of the Devils, but I just, it was so sad seeing one of the greatest wingers of his generation just languish in one losing culture and go to another. So hopefully Shiro can build a team around him.
I mean, they're not really a losing culture anymore, are they?
No, they're not. Well, that's a Lamoriello culture, so I shouldn't say it's a losing culture. But they were looking like a pretty bad team. But with a goalie like that, they're not going to be bad for long, especially with this big pick. It's exciting.
No, but Edmonton aren't a losing culture anymore.
Well, I guess not. I have to admit they're not. That was my takeaway from the first round. Was, you know what? Edmonton are a hockey team. They're not perfect, but they're a hockey team.
No, we can all admit now that Edmonton are legitimately a hockey team, and they might have some idea of what they're doing finally, which I'm very thankful for the fans of Edmonton that they finally might know what they're doing.
No, Edmonton do have great fans. I have to say they might be the least insufferable fans in Canada.
Who would you say are the most insufferable fans?
Well, I think most is pretty obvious. Vancouver.
Oh, really? Well, I feel like you get in a gray area of, I know they had the riots, but then people are going to say, oh, those aren't true Vancouver Canucks fans. So
that is bullshit. They are true. Anyone who's ever been to a live hockey game knows that it could turn into a riot at any moment. Any team in the league, they're rioting with something if Trevor Linden doesn't score in Game 7. I guarantee you, like those were true Vancouver Canucks fans. You can't just pick and choose and say, "Oh, these gentlemen, those are the fans that we want." No, it doesn't work that way. Those are Amicus and Christian Ehrhoff jerseys.
That was the narrative that they chose to go with, though.
I know, but when it happens twice in 15 years in your city, you lose the benefit of the doubt. Sorry, Vancouver. They're the worst fans in the league. Well, maybe not the league, but they're the worst fans in Canada.
Here, how about this? Have better logistics for your tailgate parties.
Well, at least. At the bare minimum, have better logistics for your tailgate parties.
Come on. Like, the Leafs do it, and, like, they're fine. They have their shit together. I am surprised that the Leafs are actually doing better fan relation things than the rest of the league for once.
And they're doing pretty well. Like, some of those first, like, Jurassic Park things, those were, like, they didn't have enough security, they didn't have enough police there, and nothing happened.
Exactly.
I started the conversation, and we might as well finish it. Let's count down the most insufferable to least insufferable. So, do you agree with me on Vancouver? Like, would you put them as number one?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. You have to be... And as hard as it is to say, I think probably it's a tie between Toronto and Montreal for second.
I was going to go with Montreal for second.
Mm-hmm. I actually do think, and I'm trying to be unbiased here because I am a Leafs fan, I think Montreal have pulled ahead of Toronto because of the bad teams that Toronto have had recently. Toronto fans have learned a lot of humility, and they haven't had much to brag about. We'll see when things start getting good for them again, how they handle it. I think this first round, the Leafs fans handled themselves quite well.
I was proud to call myself a Leafs fan for once with the way we handled the first round.
It was a really civil, like, you got to give it up to Washington fans too. Like, they were quite civil. Like, it was a competitive but like fun series. Like, if you went on Twitter, it wasn't like insane. Not like Ottawa Toronto would have been.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Leaf fans, or we'll put Montreal number 2, just because they've had a better team and they're very cocky about it. But I think the Leaf fans could be the same people. They've just had different circumstances over the years, and there's just so many of them, and it gets so big that it's just such a big animal to control, and you know, people care so much in both those cities. I think that's why stupid crap happens. I have to go. It's hard to choose between Ottawa and Calgary for number 4. What do you think? I think Calgary's probably worse.
Yeah, I would put Ottawa ahead of Calgary for being more insufferable.
They always overrate their team, and they always hate on their team. Like, it seems like they hate random people, but they also have an inflated sense of what their roster can do.
Always. Every year. Year.
Plus, they love Chris Neil. And
yep.
I mean, Calgary fans, it's fun when things are going well, definitely. But Calgary fans can be kind of ridiculous. They're not as bad on social media, though, I have to say.
Is Brian Burke still in Calgary?
He is, yeah.
I think
that's... I don't know what he does.
I think that's what pisses me off about Calgary.
Yeah, they still have the truculence there.
Anybody who would hire Brian Burke after Toronto, I don't understand.
Hey, I'm a bit of a Brian Burke apologist, and I agree with you. I got a 5-year plan. You can't fire me. Not 5 years. Like, okay, that's why we're not firing you. It didn't work.
No.
And I have to say, I think Edmonton slightly more insufferable than Winnipeg fans. Winnipeg fans are probably my favorite fans in Canada.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for
they're the funniest on social media. They're the funniest in the games. They're clever. They seem to be more clever than some of the other teams' fans when it comes to their trash talk. We'll see what happens when the things go well for them too, because there's a bit of an afterglow for getting your team back.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. It's because they lost their team for so long that they finally got them back, that now they feel as if it's their team again, and they're totally supportive.
Yeah, and I feel that, you know, that's going to last 6 or 7 years, but right around now they expect the team to be better, and we'll see how that goes, because I think they are better too. But what if they have another year like this year? It could be trouble.
Maybe. Could I just say one thing about Paul Maurice? I think Paul Maurice is the most level-headed, nicest coach in the NHL.
Nice. I'm glad we're getting some support for Paul Maurice. I think he gets a bad rap because actually his win-loss record isn't that great in the NHL, but I still think he's a great coach. I think he's excellent, and he's funny. I miss his great press conferences he used to have on the Leafs. He was so funny.
Oh, they were amazing. He would just chew his gum and just be so dry the whole time.
Yeah, he's got that great dry sense of humor. I missed him. So that was a good impromptu segment. Most insufferable fans in Canada. And who's the most insufferable in the league?
I want to say Boston.
Yeah, I think Boston actually beat Vancouver, because they're pretty much bad in all the ways.
I would say Boston would be a safe bet.
Mm-hmm. At least they are hockey literate. Like, they do know hockey.
Yeah.
But they're just terrible people.
They like to let you know that they know hockey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how good is Carlson going to be when you put his face into the glass?
Exactly.
Some good old big bad Bruins
I
hockey.
mean, they like referencing like how good the Bruins used to be, and I just maybe it's because of that 7-game series a couple of years ago, but I can't handle Boston.
I hate Boston, always will. They were lucky to have Bobby Orr. That was a fluke. The Leafs should have had him. If the Leafs would have just signed him as a 13-year-old, they could have had him.
Hey, listen, at least they're not Caleb, the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, well, yeah. Like, if we're talking about most insufferable individual fan, no doubt it's Caleb.
It's gotta be Caleb.
Can we set up a cage match with Caleb and Dart Guy?
I would love to see that.
I want that to happen. What do you think of Dart Guy?
I honestly, and this is going to be a terrible opinion, I think that he just got like swept up in the social media age that we live in. Like, I don't know, it was nice, but I don't understand why it got the legs it got, other than that's the generation that we live in now.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about it too, though. Like, when I was watching the game and I saw that guy, and I think that Game 2 was my favorite game of the playoffs. I saw that guy, and I was that guy. I was nervous. I was sweaty. I was like, "What the hell is going on? I can't take this anymore." And that guy's face was how we all felt. And because of this social media age, it just completely blew up in 12 hours. I went on Twitter the next day, and everyone was changing their profile photo to Dart Guy, and there's all these Dart Guy memes. I like that about our culture now, and I like that about sports culture.
I mean, maybe it'll...
I'm pro Dart Guy. And the best part about it was that I can...
And whatever, but...
I think you're cutting out.
Oh, no.
That's okay. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm pro Dart Guy. And it was cool that happened in one series. Like, that was how crazy Leaf fandom was in one series.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because we haven't been there in so long.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was so much fun. I didn't have any expectations going in for the season, but I really did want to have more of it just because it was so fun.
And it was something to watch every night that I really enjoyed the level of hockey in that series. Like, that series had everything.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It was a really good hockey. Still there? All right.
If somebody didn't like hockey, then like put that series on and they're gonna enjoy it, I think.
Well, I don't know. Like, the first round is my favorite. Everyone's full of emotions. Everyone's relatively healthy, and I think my team happened to be part of the most exciting series. I mean, it had so many great storylines. Like, the goalie duel was great. You have to try to contain one of the great stars of his generation. We have such a battered defense, and guys like Hunwick and Marincin were playing like heroes with added ice time. Like, Hunwick was amazing.
Yeah, Morgan Rielly too.
Well, yeah, more like the stars definitely showed up. I'd say Marner had trouble.
Whoa. Are we calling Morgan Rielly a star now?
Yeah, of course. He's a new
Is that
Ray
what's
Bork.
happening?
He's the new Ray Bork. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Here's the issue with the Leafs, is we call all our young guys stars, and then we don't really know what a real star looks like.
Well, what is Morgan Rielly then to you?
He's a puck-moving defenseman that has the potential to be a star, but he's not there yet.
Is he a Trevor Daley or is he a Chris Letang?
He's a Chris Letang.
So that's a star.
I'm saying he's developing into a Chris Letang.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Because he is still learning. Like, he made leaps and bounds this year, for sure, especially playing really tough 5-on-5 minutes. He didn't get a lot of easy minutes this year. And it showed in the playoffs. Like, that game, too, was so insane because it was a young team just thrown into a double overtime game, and they were so tired, all of them. Except for Gardner, actually. Gardner seemed pretty okay.
Yeah, Gardner was the one that kind of made me nervous, to be honest. He tends to make a couple mistakes a game that you're like, are you still making those? And they're really, really costly mistakes.
Playoffs, he definitely kept it to a minimum, though.
Yeah.
I thought he was incredible. Was really impressed with him. Definitely, I was impressed with the fourth line because the fourth line, too, like, let's face it, they were pretty easy to score on in the regular season.
They were.
And they ended up playing really well. I called the captain goal in Game 2 because they had been playing the top three lines so much that I thought, okay, who has wheels on that line? And, well, he's the guy, obviously, with the skates.
Oh, no.
And I called the overtime game. I called the overtime winner, the Johansson winner too.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. When I saw the fourth line on the ice, and they started playing that Russian song, I just kind of knew Kuznetsov was going to win that face-off, and it'd be in the net.
Yeah, the way they're kind of...
Really, they should have played Spirit of Radio by Rush, and then there'd be no problem.
Well, you should be the on in-game operations.
Yes, thank you, Sean. Thank you. Of course I should be. It's overtime. You play 50 mission cap. You play Rush. Like, don't play Russian organ music. It's going to happen.
You think they would know that by now?
You'd think,
especially when they're playing the Capitals.
The hockey gods are real and they demand tribute. But
well, the more people that learn that quickly, the better we are.
You know, I went to that Hawks Leafs regular season game at the ACC, and the music is finally getting better. Like they played for the opening skate, they played about 5 Kanye songs.
Oh yeah?
They played some Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Like it was getting pretty good.
Did they play some Drizzy?
They played some Drizzy Drake for sure. And it was really working for me. And they need more of that. And that's why they got to hire me.
Clearly, the only option is to hire you.
So that was fun. The Leafs were fun. we'll get more on the future of the Leafs on our upcoming draft preview, because it should be a fun off season. But let's just end off our Leafs segment with who were your top 3 favorite Leafs in the postseason?
Austin Matthews has to be an obvious one. Kapanen also, and Zach Hyman.
Zach Hyman, nice. I thought Hyman had a hell of a series.
Yeah. People, for some reason, don't like him on the Matthews line and don't see the real value that he gives to that team. And, like, if you just watch his shifts, that is everything you look for in a hockey player.
And his coach agrees with you. Babcock absolutely loves him. Yeah, those are good picks. None of them are on my picks. I'm going to go with Matt Hunwick, because I was not impressed with him in the regular season. I think he's fine. I thought, like, okay, this is a number 6 defenseman that, like, you got to protect. But he was forced to play top 4 and some really big penalty kills. And I thought he overachieved as much as any Leaf in the postseason this year. Number 2, Nazem Kadri. There is a playoff player. He is sandy. He knows how to win like, I know they didn't win the series, but he knows how to play a long game. And I think that's what you want in the playoffs. You have to kind of see it like a story and like where you are in the story. And he understood momentum better than any player on the team, I think, and was a real leader. I love my Nas.
I do.
And number 1 favorite player, Leo Komarov.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Guys like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, those were solid picks. Komarov is definitely the type of player you need in the playoffs.
Oh, man, I want him in my corner. Like, he's pretty good at hockey, but all the stuff that isn't hockey, he's brilliant at. You know
he's amazing at chirping.
He's amazing at chirping. He's amazing at all the in-between the face-off stuff. Definitely the moment where Justin Williams knocked his helmet over and he just didn't move a muscle. That was hilarious. And then when the puck was dropped, he wrapped his leg around Justin Williams' thigh and knocked him over. That might be my favorite moment of the playoffs so far.
that was definitely a defining moment for sure.
Yeah, he's the guy I really hope they keep. You need him in our corner.
Yeah, they better keep him.
So I guess let's move on to the Raptors, unless you have any final remarks.
That was a tremendous season that I don't think a lot of us saw coming, or at least I didn't. And they're only going to get better. Well, I hope they're only going to get better. So it's going to be fun for a long time.
I'm with you, Sean. I know it's corny, but I want to thank the Leafs for that. I really love this group, and it's really going to be fun to see them get better and win some cups.
Let's go win a cup, boys.
Let's go win a cup. That's what I expect. And Mitch Marner, who probably had the toughest time, as I alluded to earlier, I think he's going to be the guy leading us.
Yeah, he definitely has tremendous upside. And just the fact that all those rookies had that many points in their rookie year is amazing.
It's unprecedented. Incredible stuff. Anyway, moving on to a different vibe, a team that was expected to do more, maybe expected to challenge for a title, the Toronto Raptors. It was a trying first round, wouldn't you say?
Trying is kind of putting it mildly.
Maybe the wrong word.
Like, nerve-wracking, like, I wanted to claw my eyes out when I was watching, I think it was Game 3 or Game 2.
Game 3 was absolutely unconscionable basketball.
Like, at what point do we stop going, oh, they've got stuff to learn, and they just need to learn about what it takes to win in the playoffs, and, like, give them a break. Like, we're past that now.
Yeah, no benefit of the doubt for that game. Like, that was a lack of professional pride and just god-awful basketball. Yeah, you're right. The learning process is over. Most of these guys have been in 4 playoff runs. It's time to be a pro and be who you are as a professional.
I don't know if you saw it, but Lowry's press conference, when he was like, we got our ass beat, was maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I missed that one, Sean. Unfortunately,
I have to show you the video.
Well, he's good. He's a good basketball player, and I think he's a guy who was pretty ashamed by what happened, as he should be. If you're not feeling shame about that, you're not an NBA player.
Well, you have to feel something. I remember thinking Dwayne Casey better be flipping tables and kicking garbage cans after this, because that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, one of the worst playoff games I've seen in a long time by any team, and it was my team. It follows after that, after last year's run, and the series against Indiana and the series against Miami were the same. Like, it was up and down. It was really hard to watch. If it wasn't my team, I would not be watching those series. It was tough.
I was watching it with a friend of mine, and I was like, why? Like, what's the point of even driving all the way out here to watch them not put in effort in? I mean, that was the thing that pissed me off the most, was there was no professionalism, absolutely no effort on any level.
No, it was sad, but you know what? Looking on the bright side, it was a tough matchup for them. Giannis is one of the best. Is probably the second best player in the East to LeBron. There's not much you can do to really control him. And they were a young team, and they eventually did find out a way to pro up, look like the veteran team, and beat them.
Newsflash, it's only going to get tougher.
Well, they almost gave away that Game 6, too, which was terrible. They had a 28-point lead, and they let it come to a tie. Like, that's insane. Like, you don't just shut it down for 7 minutes.
Exactly.
It's a bad sign. Currently, they're losing 96-73 to Cleveland.
Oh my god!
As we speak, after 3.
Like, not in the playoffs. You can't, like, the playoffs is all about the killer instinct, right? And wrapping up a game once you have your opponent, like, on the floor.
Yeah. You got to try to keep it close. I don't know. It's really hard to be optimistic about this team. They're really pushing me, man. They're pushing me. I know I'm the optimist of the two of us, but it's getting tough. It's getting tough, man.
Come to the dark side.
No, I can't. It's not gonna make my sports life any better.
Do it.
No,
Do it.
I gotta go with Yoda on this one.
All right, fine.
I'm a Chris Pronger fan. I think that counts a little bit.
So, the fact that you're a Chris Pronger fan just, like, immediately puts you in that, like, morally ambiguous gray area for
Absolutely.
sports?
Yeah. Because he's probably the Sith. But I'm not a Sith just for liking him.
No.
But it's definitely a question mark.
Well, it gives you some mystery and intrigue.
Exactly. I think I need that. No one can be all good, right? Like, it's like Superman's not interesting if he doesn't have a dark side.
The best heroes are anti-heroes.
Exactly. So I'm working on that.
Good.
So God bless the Raptors. Hopefully they can beat the Cavs. Like, they won't, but let's hope they do.
They will not.
We'll check back in. Now, I heard you had an interesting story about StubHub recently. I mean, they're not one of our sponsors. I should say that right out. I know they sponsor a lot of podcasts, but they don't sponsor us. So we can say whatever we want about them. What happened to you, John?
And nor should they be one of our sponsors.
No?
So, no. So I was looking at tickets for a professional wrestling event. Listeners of this podcast who've been around for a while will know that professional wrestling is one of my enjoyable things that I like to watch. Yes. For some reason. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but anyway, that's what it is.
Don't apologize.
So I was looking online for some tickets, and they were sold out from the actual promoter. So naturally, I go on StubHub to find these tickets, and these tickets are like $80 from the promoter's website, and then you go on StubHub and they're like $230 American, and you're like, what is happening? I'm not paying that. And then you realize, but I really want to go. So then, obviously, something happens in my brain something happens with me generally, that once I get my mind on, I want to go to something, like, I tend to shell out the money that's required for some reason. So I did, but then I was like, $230, that's absolutely, like, ridiculous.
Wow.
Like, what am I... It's just horrible.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I know our federal government is going to be getting involved in making rules against scalping.
I hope so, because, like, I don't want to... And I've made this commitment to myself before that I'm never going to use StubHub. But then, when I really, like, would like to go see something, StubHub seems to be the only option because, as we know, StubHub buys up all the tickets off of sites like Ticketmaster, so then the Ticketmaster tickets go faster, and then you're left without tickets. So
something's got to give.
Yeah, it's just super frustrating, especially the rate at which it's marked up is outrageous.
I know, and you know, it's their business model now, right? So,
and they know that people are willing to pay that.
Yep. There is demand, and like you said, I know the feeling. Like, once you set your heart on something, it's pretty hard to give up on it.
It is. For me, anyway. Like, I know a lot of people will just be like, oh, I don't really have to go to that show. But for some reason, like, and the worst part about it is it's in Ted Reeve Arena, which is basically like this old, like, arena for like where people play rec hockey, I'm pretty sure. And they're putting a wrestling show in it, and people are charging like $230 per ticket. And then I'm like, wow, I must be like the easiest mark for like these like Ponzi schemes and like phishing schemes, but I'm really not. It's just for when I would like to go to an event.
Yeah, you're not a stupid person, Sean. And we all make these purchases once in a while, and it's not our fault. It's the whole business model.
Blame it on the business model.
Blame it on the business model. You know, we just want to have fun. We just want to do fun things. And, be able to not have to take out a second mortgage.
Don't blame it on my irresponsible use of my disposable income.
Well, I'm not going to let you completely off the hook.
Come on.
Or just 5%.
5%?
And then 95% the business model.
I'll give you 3%.
All right, that's fine. I mean, I don't. I'm a Marxist, so. Yeah, like, don't use StubHub. I don't know.
Don't do it.
I guess that's the option here. So what else have you been up to? I think we're gonna start winding down the show now. Anything interesting outside of the world of sports that you've been interested in?
Netflix. I've decided to use Netflix and actually get a membership.
Nice.
Instead of streaming illegally online. So I've just been watching all of Netflix. I think I'm almost completed Netflix. Also,
completed Netflix.
I've almost completed.
You
Netflix.
beat the game.
Yeah. Also, me and some of my classmates won an award. Well, won second place for a radio documentary we did a while back. So that was super cool.
That's awesome. Where can our listeners find that?
Well, they can find that on SoundCloud.com/Ted and Guthrie Radio, or they could also search Sean Token on Facebook, and they will find a link there.
Nice. So that's SoundCloud.com Ted and Guthrie Radio?
Yeah, so it's TEBNGUTHRIE Radio.
Or you search out Sean on Facebook, which you should be doing already. Do you have a fan page on Facebook, Sean?
I do not.
No?
Do you have a fan?
I don't want to just be your friend, I want to like you.
Oh,
I want to follow you.
I mean, I like you already. I think that's implicit in friendship, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, that's implicit, I guess. But like, I want like a graphic version of that, an interactive version of that, like where you can like wave at me and poke at me.
I see. I'll get on that as soon as possible.
I just think, like, as a 115 corridor celebrity, you need a fan page.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I'll see what I can do. No promises.
Yeah, man. Hey, big fish in a little pond. That's the Yeah Bud podcast.
Is that what you think of my ego? Like, sometimes I think that that's how people think that I perceive myself, which it's not, for clarification.
Well, I'm talking about myself too.
Oh, you're talking about the podcast as a whole.
And both of us individually.
How's your fan page coming along?
My page also doesn't exist, but the more I talk about it, the more I want one.
I feel like everyone wants a fan page on some level.
Yeah, I think so. But not everyone has the ego that can handle it.
No, I mean, mine might need a fan page just to keep me going through the day. I don't know.
But that's good news. Good news to hear that you won an award, and I hope our listeners will check it out.
What have you been up to lately?
Not too much, really. Just shaking off the seasonal affected depression. And enjoying hours and hours of Survivor.
Yes, through social media, I've seen that you are very much into Survivor right now.
This has become quite the obsession, Sean. I'm not sure how you're going to feel about this, but it has become a real obsession. I mean,
it infuriates me on just about every level, but
it infuriates me on or a lot of my friends. Why don't you respect Survivor, Sean?
Why don't I? Well, I think we'd need a whole other hour, but I think it's just because it started that whole reality generation that we live in now, and it's like super, like, I don't know, it's super glamorized, and they ran out of ideas like 12 years ago, so they need like all-star seasons. Like, I think that's when you know it's time to end the show, when you're on the 4th season of Survivor All-Stars. Like, what are you doing?
Well, we will do our Survivor hour maybe next episode. But that's fair enough. You make some valid points. But I have to confess, it's kind of rising the ranks. It's maybe tied with the NBA now for my second favorite sport.
Oh my goodness!
It's past the Premiership. It's past the NFL.
It hurts me.
It just curdled your guts that I called it a sport, right?
And that, like, you would give it enough credence to sit there and put it on and marathon it. I don't understand.
I've watched like 4 episodes a night. Like,
where are you getting this?
That's my secret.
Oh, I see. I see.
Safe to say, it'd be hours of joy.
Well, I mean, I would say to each his own, but I feel like I have a moral obligation to not say that right now.
Yeah, I think you picked your corner, and hey, maybe it is related to the seasonal affective disorder. I don't know.
I mean, I just went through that. I just went through that too, so I know how you feel. That's when I started trying to complete Netflix.
Well, I'm glad that someone has completed all the side quests of Netflix. and beat the game.
Yeah.
What's good on Netflix right now?
What's good on Netflix? There's a one-man show called Rodney King.
Oh, yeah.
That just came out coinciding with the anniversary of the trial. It's a really good piece of theater that I think any artist should watch. It's really moving and powerful. Spike Lee directed like the cinematography and like how they shot the stage show, but it was really well done.
Nice. I'll definitely check that one out. Well, now that you've had a recommendation, I'm gonna give mine, and it's Survivor Season 16, Fans versus Favorites, in which a team of all-stars plays against a tribe of newcomers to Survivor. It's classic gameplay, great strategy, some of the most interesting strategic moves in the game's history.
How many seasons of Survivor are there right now?
34.
Chee! 34.
Yeah. And I haven't watched all.
Are you planning to?
No, I'm not planning to. I go on this Survivor blog that ranks the seasons, and I kind of just go for the like B- and above seasons.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, if you're planning on watching all the seasons, we need to give you an intervention.
Well, you know what? We'll see what happens when I run out of B- seasons. The intervention might be coming. You never know. I can't, that's my plan now, but
I'll be at the forefront leading the intervention.
okay. Well, you'll have plenty of company because many of my friends are concerned.
I'll bring my talking stick. We'll get it all sorted out.
Well, we'll need it. So I think our listeners are probably missing this in their lives, but we have a very favorite we have a favorite segment returning tonight, and that is roller derby names.
Woo!
I know you missed this one. I found something. You can check it out on. Well, I actually don't know how you can. But I found this online on the Frogmouth blog, which is a athletic wear blog for roller derby, and this is the taxonomy of science fiction roller derby names.
Oh,
so it's a collection of science fiction. We won't blow them all tonight, but I think you mentioned Star Wars.
just to clarify, I have not heard these at this point.
No, you haven't heard any of these. So we're going to go with some Star Wars names, and obviously Star Wars is one of the most popular pop culture products ever, so there's going to be some good ones. Let's go with some Death Star themed ones. Daisy Death Star.
Okay.
Pretty good. Death Starlet.
Okay.
Ringo Death Star.
No.
Which isn't great. The Beth Star.
What?
Probably someone called Beth. So those are kind of weird. Well, I kind of like this one, the Kessel Runt.
Okay.
Because there's a Kessel Run in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Boba Threat.
Okay.
I like that one. Boba Fed Up.
I like that.
Boba Fetish.
Nope.
No, I don't like that one. Queen Slamadala.
Oh, that's not bad.
I like that one. Oh, here's a good one. Nerf Hurt Her.
Okay.
right? Because the scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
Yeah.
Nerf hurt her. Ninikin floor crawler.
What?
Yeah, Anna Queen skate walker.
No.
These are pretty bad. Admiral Smack Bar. Oh, yeah, I like this one. C3P owned.
Oh.
R2 beat you.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Any good Obi-Wan ones? Obi-Wan can nosebleed.
Oh.
That's a good one.
I think that might win.
Yeah, I think that's the winner so far. Let's see if I can find a better one. Crashing Wookiee broken zebra. That's not very good.
No.
Princess Leia out.
Okay.
It's okay. Princess Leia, you kind of knew that one was coming.
Yeah.
Hannah shot first.
I like that.
That's pretty good. Any good Darth Vader ones? Not really. Oh, there's a good one. Ruth Vader Ginsburg. I like that one.
Good.
And let's end it off with... Is there another good Chewbacca one? How about Nuke Skatewalker?
That's a little underwhelming.
So what are our winners?
Queen Slamadala.
Yep.
And there was another one.
I'm gonna go C3P owned.
Yeah. I think that was it.
I think Ruthless Vader Ginsburg's pretty good too.
Yeah, that's definitely a solid show.
No, don't worry, because next episode we have plenty more science fiction roller derby names.
I think everybody needs this in their life.
I think so too. It makes me happy.
I think we're providing a service to our listeners right now.
People need to hear it.
Yep.
Well, you know what? This was a fun podcast, Sean.
I think it was jam-packed.
It was jam-packed. Any final remarks? I have one.
Not really. Just have a good week, and hopefully we will we will provide you with another great podcast next week.
Yeah, I hope so too, and hopefully the Raptors haven't been swept by then.
Hopefully.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your week. This is Kelsey Powell signing off.
Sean So Good.
Signing
See
off.
ya.
From the 115 corridor.
Oh.
Good night.
Who wants to throw some rocks? Alley cats condemn names. Meet me at the docks tonight, head to head for 10 frames. Golden arm, I bring the pressure. Amateurs are folding under. Yeah, they call me Rolling Thunder. Undefeated, bowling wonder. Ignore the pain.